Hi, welcome to the Pocket Pages cloth book that we're making. We're making it one pocket page at a time. So this is the book, lots of pages, lots of different types of pockets that you can put things in. So we've been doing quite a few of these and we're now up to pocket page number 16, which is this one here. And if you're receiving the pattern, it's through the website GourmetQuilter.com for pocket pages. Then you will have some instructions that tell you all about it here for each page. Each time there's a video, there's a download as well. So what we've got here is kind of a different sort of a pocket. Well, the pocket's much the same, but it's got a different closure on it. So it's actually got something in there that's holding that a little bit firm and causes it to spring back in. So we'll go ahead and start making this pocket. So this is what we're using for the closure, the piece of metal tape measure, which we just need one piece of it. Sometimes we make little snap bags and it's in both sides and they sort of snap closed, but we're just doing a single one on a flat pocket today. But we'll go ahead and get the pocket made so that I can show you how to do that as well. So on your pattern you will have had, as well as the page I've just shown you, you'll have another page as well with the actual size or half size. This needs to be twice as wide as that, so that we can get the shape that we want, because as well as the little snap fastening that it's also got a little tucked pleat in the side as well, so just a little bit to the bottom, just to give it a little bit of room to move in there. So we need to alter the shape of our pocket piece. So what I'm suggesting would be to use a light source of some sort, and laying the piece of fabric, so it's quite a long piece because the pocket is made double. If we lay it to the top here, and we can mark, as we can see through it, we can mark the actual cutting line that we're going to have there. So I've already done that side, and to make the other mark on the other side, well, if we flip the pattern over, it will still shine through, and we can do it to this corner of our fabric this time. So I'll mark that, and then we can get it cut to the size and shape that we're wanting. So we're trying to just mark the cutting line, which is marked on the pattern, so you'll know which line it is. It's a solid line, and we probably don't need much more than that at this stage, so I'll pop the light box to one side. And so now on half of my piece of fabric, because it's going to be sewn together double, I've got the side. So on the pattern piece here, the shaded area is what we're cutting away. So I've marked that on both sides, so we can now go ahead and cut that away. Now I would probably use my rotary cutter to do this. I would cut down that straight bit there, and where it changes angle and then goes out to the corner, I can just turn it like that. And on this side the same thing, up from the corner to where it turns around a little corner, and that. So I've got my little piece cut out. So that's double. We're going to stitch the side seams now, just a regular 1/4 inch side seam. So I'll go ahead and do that, and then when we've done the stitching, we do just need to clip the corners off because we're going to turn it out the right way. So we can stitch the side seams, turn it out the right way, and then I'll show you what to do with it next. So I've gone ahead, I did my seam, I clipped my little corners, I've turned it out, I've pressed it. There's a whole lot of pressing to do on this one because we've got the little pleat that we're going to put in at the lower edge of the pocket. We need to press that now. So what we need to do is make sure that this is going to be a fairly straight line, and what I actually did was laid it on my board, and I found that line there, and I can just fold it back and just do a bit of a finger press, but then I can take it to the iron and I can press that, and then we want to press it back again. So on this one here you can see I've already done the pressing, so we want to press it back again so that this edge here is level with that fold at the bottom edge, and it will just get less and less as it comes up, and it kind of disintegrates in the end, but that's okay because we'll be stitching that edge down as our pocket side. So we should have something that's ending up with fairly straight sides but little tucked back bottom corners, but it will just sort of change shape a little bit there. And then we need to fold down the top so we've got double fabric, but we've got raw edges here, so we want to fold. So on the pattern there's some lines, but there's also measurements given, so we just want to fold that down once and press it, and then we want to fold it over again and press it again, and that's going to form the casing for our piece of a special binding closure that we've got. It needs to be plenty big enough to hold that, because we've got to stitch 1/8 of an inch either side on the folds, and you still want a little bit of room in between. So that works quite well. So when we've pressed both the little pleats there, and we've pressed this one over here and here, what we now need to do on this top edge, we can leave the pleats for the moment, is stitch 1/8 of an inch along there, come down this end, and 1/8 of an inch back along that fold there, but leave one end open. You've got to be able to pop your little closure in. So I'll go ahead and do my stitching and then show you how to do the rest of it. So I've gone ahead, I've sewn my 3 sides of my casing there, but I can still get something in there, which is good because I need to do this. So now if you've got your metal tape measure and there's measurements in the pattern, you want to be able to trim that to the right size. So please do not use your best scissors. Please use some old scissors, some workshop scissors, something that really won't matter, because we're cutting metal with scissors. So it's not good for scissors. However, some scissors can take it, but not your best ones. So I'm suggesting, I've already done mine, but you can actually just cut it. So you want to get a length first that you need, and then you just want to round those corners a little bit if you can. It's a little bit tricky to do, and the pieces can be sharp, so just be a little bit careful if little bits of corner fly off. And then we're just going to, because it's sharp, we want to cover over those edges. So I'm just suggesting just some regular masking tape or something along those lines, and we just want to wrap. So I've already cut myself some pieces here, so you want to wrap that over the ends, and I like to put it on double just to make sure, because what happens when we use this type of closure, it can kind of wear away, and because there's a little sharpness to the metal tape as well, we want to make sure we're well covered with that. So my masking tape is not the same size as my metal tape, but that's okay, because we're going to trim it off. So just pop that on double at each end, and then probably again with your scissors that are not your best scissors, just trim that so that it's level. You're not cutting the metal tape here, you're just cutting the masking tape. But just trim them so that they're the same width as the tape, so that you haven't got funny bits sticking out the sides, because it's probably not hugely helpful. So that's that done. I don't need those anymore. So I've got my tape ready to go now. And what we're going to do, so with these metal tape measures are curved usually, so with the curve facing on the outside, so that we've stitched the casing down onto the outside of the pocket, so you want the curve facing up that same way, and I would probably pop it, doesn't matter if it goes in the middle or if it goes in behind, and then so put it in with the curve facing that way. It should be the right length to fit within your space, because we've still got to stitch that closed at that end as well. So you can either stitch that closed now, or it can be stitched in as we stitch it onto our pocket page. So the background page this time, we've got some stiffening on it, so that's all ready to go, and then it tells you where to position it on your page. And so we've got these little pleats, remember, we've got to position those so that they come in at the bottom. So you want to position the sides, because we're not stitching the bottom just yet, we're going to stitch the sides first and then come back over and do that. So we just need to measure this. Can we stop a sec? So we're just coming up from the bottom, and we can just do a little bit of a line that gives us an idea where things are going. It would be probably quite helpful to have a little central mark as well, because we can mark a center of our pocket so that we can get that in the middle there. And then what we want to do is have a couple of pins handy and bring these little pleats in so that the bottom edge, they're all level, and then because we've got this stiffening here, we can actually pin into the stiffening. So what we're going to be doing is stitching the sides down, but not the bottom just yet. a little bit like the pocket we've done previously, but not exactly the same. So now we know that this is now sitting okay up here. So we just want to make sure that those edges just come in reasonably well. So we want to flip this bit out of the way, and we're just going to stitch up the side there all the way up right to the very top of the pocket now, about 1/8 of an inch in, and on the other side as well. Just try not to let that bow out too much, bring that in a little bit so that it's basically a fairly straight line coming up each side, and right through this top casing part, right to the very top of the pocket. And then we'll come back and show you how to do the other bit. So I've gone ahead, I've sewn my sides here right through the top casing on both sides, and now we've just got to close off the bottom edge. So all we're trying to do now is pop those little pleats over. Everything should be fairly level at the bottom edges there, and stitch 1/8. So I'll just do that now so that then we can see it all finished. So just coming along the bottom edge, little back stitch, and then all the way along, making sure that our little pleats are sitting there. And we have a fun little pocket. So we've got a pleat in the side, so there's a bit of room to move, there's room to put things in there, a little bit of room for some slightly bulky, but that will just kind of keep that closed with that metal tape in that pocket. So I thought that was kind of fun. So that was pocket page number 16, and we'll see you again. We're getting right through these pages for number 17.